All right, guys, welcome back into the man cave. So we're going to change the transmission oil on this car. So we're going to set up our oil grade pan. And we are going to pull this drain plug. And I'm just going to let that drain for a while. Now, while we're doing this, we're also going to change the oil on this differential. So while that's draining, I'm going to pull this cover off of this differential so that we can get it set up to drain as well. All right, so this is finished draining. So I'm going to go ahead and inspect this plug and then put it back in and tighten it up, and then we'll put new oil in this transmission. Now that differential does not have a drain plug, which means that it has to be disassembled to get the oil out of it, or else I have to reach in there with a fluid extractor to get the oil out. So I'm going to have I'm going to visit with the customer about it. So we'll go ahead and tighten this plug up, and then we'll pull this plug out and put new fluid in it. And we'll go ahead and wipe this oil off of this. Okay, so I am going to use this pump to get this gear oil into this transmission. Now, if you notice, I have my oil drain setting right underneath of that hole. What we're going to do is we're going to put this oil level until it gets right to that hole. And this thing, it doesn't want to pump this heavy gear oil very bad. So it may be a bit of a challenge. There we go, that'll work. Okay. All right, so when the oil starts to run out of this plug hole, we're gonna let just a little bit run out. Right there at the bottom of that plug hole is where that's supposed to be. So we're going to go ahead and put this plug back in. Wipe this transmission down and let this set for just a minute. And then I'm going to take this plug and pull it back for just a second, just to make double sure that it's full. And it is. So now we are going to tighten this plug up. These don't have to be super tight, but they need to be tight enough where they're not falling out. And then we make sure we wipe everything down so that we're not getting an oil leak out of this transmission. This way, if we do find a leak, we'll be able to figure out where it's at. So that's changing the gearbox oil. So we've decided that we did want to change the oil in this differential, and I do not want to pull it apart. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this pneumatic fluid extractor, and I'm going to run a hose from it and we're going to run it up into this differential, and we'll plug the air into this extractor, and it'll create a vacuum which will draw the fluid out of that differential so that I can put new fluid in. If you watch, you can see the fluid coming out and coming through this hose, and we'll go ahead and let this drain until it runs with no fluid in it, and then we'll put, I'll move this around a little bit and make sure that we get all the fluid out of it, and then we'll put new fluid in it. It will be about the same as putting fluid in the transmission, so I'm not going to film that. So that's gearbox oil changes.